Hi, I'm Kia Abdullah, author of Take It Back. It's been 6 months since the hardback release and the paperback is out now, so I thought now would be a good time to do 10 more questions. Obviously, holding my hardback for the first time was a really big highlight. But aside from that, I really enjoyed the Pigeonhole experience. So, the Pigeonhole is an app, and they basically sell it as the book club in your pocket. And they serialize novels and allow readers to read it in real time, to comment and interact with each other. And Take It Back was the first ever audio serialization they did. And they asked me to join it and basically field questions that readers were posting. And I was a little bit nervous because obviously books are written in a vacuum, and reading reviews is one thing, but seeing real time commenting on your writing is a completely different thing. And so I was a bit nervous, but it was such a brilliant experience just seeing people make observations on the story, post their theories, also take ownership of your characters. So people were saying things like, oh no, Zara wouldn't do that, that's completely unlike her. And so it was really nice to see people take ownership of my characters. I did have one reader tell me that she wasn't going to read the novel because she felt it was a negative story about Muslims. And to give you a bit of context, Take It Back is set in East London, in which a 16-year-old girl called Jodie accuses four boys of rape. Jodie is white and the four boys are Muslims, which immediately draws the attention of the press and the public. That reaction really disappointed me because, from my perspective, the whole point of the novel is that we do good things and bad things because we choose to do them as individuals, not because of the colour of our skin. And so, to see somebody come at it from a completely different angle was disappointing. The short answer is no. Look, it's a very common misconception that as soon as an author signs a book deal, they're rich, and that's definitely not the case. Most of us have a sideline or a day job. For me, it's running my travel blog, Atlas and Boots, which makes me most of my income. Uh, Really, unless you go stratospheric like Gone Girl or Eleanor Oliphant, you will likely need another income stream. The Society of Authors says that the median income, annual income for an author is about £10,000. So, to answer your question, no, definitely not rich. Oh, that's a good question. From a craft point of view, I would say Donna Tartt is right up there. She is just, pages and pages of the most exquisite prose. Completely jealous of her. Um, Also, Jeffrey Eugenides, I think Middlesex and The Virgin Suicides are just two of the most beautiful novels ever written. From a commercial point of view, E.L. James has done all right, hasn't she? I've never been asked that question before. Well, neither of my parents can speak English, and so I grew up, and as did my siblings, translating for them in lots of different contexts. So whether that was calling a utility company, or dealing with a council, or dealing with builders who might be around. Even when I was 6 or 7 years old, I was the one who was communicating with them. And that kind of power imbalance, even though my parents were adults and I was the child, really came from being able to speak a language that they couldn't. And I think that was really interesting. Honestly, I wish I had better comic timing. I really think it's a skill, and you can use it to disarm people, to charm people, and I think I last told a good joke in about 2014. Oh, now you're trying to get me into trouble. Look, audiobooks are brilliant. I'm so proud of the audiobook for Take It Back. I think it's brilliant. Personally, I don't get from audiobooks what I get from reading a physical book, and that's basically a complete blocking out of the world. You can't read a physical book while driving, you can't read a physical book while, I don't know, doing your makeup or your hair, and so it takes a complete blocking off of the world, and it offers complete escapism, which I don't think you get from audiobooks. I haven't really answered your question, but I'm not going to. I don't want to get cancelled, right? Okay, speaking of being cancelled, I worry about the fact that there's increasing pressure on authors to be authentic. Look, if you're writing about a marginalized community, you have a responsibility to do your research and to represent that community in a sensitive and authentic way. But I feel like we're moving towards a position where if you're not part of the community, you're almost not allowed to write about them. And I find that really uncomfortable as a novelist. Um, Recently, the author of My Dark Vanessa, Kate Elizabeth Russell, she wrote a book about the sexual relationship between a 14-year-old girl and her teacher. And the author was practically bullied into revealing the fact that she had experienced some of the same things because people were questioning her right to write that novel. And it's a good novel. So, yeah, that definitely makes me uncomfortable. I love traveling. So I've been to about 60 countries, and there are so many I still want to see. I also love horse riding, but I've been doing less of that recently. A, because it's so bloody expensive, but B, because I've been grappling with the ethics of riding. Just the idea of putting a bit in a horse's mouth and using it to control it. People tell me, look, they barely feel it, but I turned vegetarian when I was 13. I'm not vegan yet, but I really care about animal rights. And yeah, so I'm not quite sure where I sit on that yet. Look, I don't think there's a novelist out there who wouldn't like to hit the bestseller list. The way I look at it, there's probably three ways to do that. So, first is if you're a celebrity, it's far easier because you've already got a fan base that's going to probably go and buy your book. Secondly, to be chosen as one of the flagship titles by your publisher, they will throw everything they have behind you. It's never a guarantee, but it gives you the best chance. And thirdly, is to just plod along, keep writing good books, and keep building your readership. And so, my hope for Take It Back is that it allows me to continue writing books, and then maybe one day I'll have a big enough readership to become a best selling author.